So the month is over, and that means it's time for a wrap up. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today is the February 2023 wrap up. So it's going to be all the books that I read in February with the ratings. Now, I only read 3 books this month because I got super busy. If you watched last week's episode, I was sitting here bragging about how my work queue had emptied up. Yeah, later that day after I got done filming, my queue filled back up with work. So it's been a really busy February, and I'm just happy I got through the books I got through, and that the books that I got through were all really good. Before we get into it, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week, and all we do on this channel is talk about books. So if you like listening to people talk about books, here I am every week doing just that for you. Let's get started. Okay, so before I really get into it, I have some really fun announcements, okay? So first off, a author that I work with regularly just published their piece up on Kindle Vella. If you don't know what Kindle Vella is, it's basically Kindle but in episode form. So authors can release episodes of their work for people to read, and it's basically designed for people that have manuscripts that are just super big or are just basically too big to be put into book form, or that have really spread out plot lines. And this one in particular is so good. Here's a picture of it. Here's the title. I'm gonna put a link to it down below. And the first, I think, 4 episodes are free to read, and then after that you do have to pay tokens to continue reading, but there's lots of ways to get free tokens from Amazon. So yeah, if this is your first time with Kindle Vella, I highly recommend this piece, especially if you like monster porn. This wow, okay. This author has just a great talent of mixing really great storytelling, really great character dynamics, and also making it so flippin' steamy, okay? The scenes, oh my gosh, okay? And the storyline is so good. Already the first 4 episodes, amazing. The storyline is just so good, and the little details, this is sort of science fiction-y because we are dealing with different alien type monster species and things like that. I'm not a huge science fiction person, which we'll get into later in this post, but this is it's so digestible. It's so easy, and there's just these little things that this author will put in that just make it so real. Do you know what I mean? And it makes it so easy to enjoy. It's just an enjoyable piece. And yeah, if you want something hot and steamy too, it's perfect, okay? Go check it out. Like I said, the first couple episodes are completely free for you to read, so if you end up liking it, you can keep reading it. They are going to post every week their new episodes, so that's super exciting. Okay, more exciting news. Okay, my mind is just drawing a complete blank, but I do know 2 things for sure, okay? The book I'm going to talk to you about today, the Tia Williams book, a little spoiler for what's to come, The Perfect Find, they're turning it into a series on Netflix, I'm super excited about. So when that comes out later this year, I will be able to compare the book and the TV series, which I'm super excited about. Another thing in that same direction, I don't know if you watch this kind of thing, but The Devil in Ohio, which is also a TV series or a Netflix series, it was adapted from a book. I just finally found this out. I started watching The Devil in Ohio a couple months ago. I think I got 2 episodes in, and then I just kind of got busy and put it off. Now that I know it's a book, I'm reading the book, and I'm gonna go back and watch the show, and then I'm gonna talk about it. I'm so excited. I know this is such a small thing, but I'm really excited about it. The third thing, there is a series on Netflix that is connected to a book that I've read. I can't remember for the life of me what it is, but I knew I was super excited about it. If I figure it out while I'm editing, I'll like put it here or something. But yeah, so that means there's a lot of new book to film series adaptations coming soon to the channel, and that makes me super excited. Like, I love participating in these types of things. So yeah, that's my super exciting news. Anyway, let's get into what I read in February. Finally, the first book I'm going to talk about today is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. So, if you've been with my channel a minute, in December, I wanted to read this book, right? I wanted it in my December lineup. Like, it's Christmas, it's murder. I mean, come on, that's a good aesthetic, right? I put it on hold in December. It did not become available until the end of January. I'm pretty sure I put that in the February maybes too. It finally came my way. So I was like, I'm gonna read it. I'm committed to reading this book this month. So I did, okay? Premise of the book. Lily is a part of the Armitage family, and every year the Armitage family has a Christmas game, like it's like a clue type game at the family home, which is called Endgame House. Every year they have the big Christmas game, and you have to solve all these riddles and stuff and find clues, and then whoever wins at the end gets the biggest present, okay? Well, Lily is the best at the game, but she's always kind of like not liked a lot of attention on her, and then when her mother ended up dying at Endgame House, she decided she wasn't ever going to go back to Endgame. She wasn't going to play the Christmas game anymore. She didn't want to really be back there because it has a lot of bad memories, right? She gets a letter from her aunt saying, come to Endgame House to play the Christmas game, and all of the mystery and secrets surrounding your mother's death will be revealed. Well, yeah, of course Lily's going to go. And then when she gets there, she finds out that whoever wins the Christmas game this year gets the deeds to the house, which like everybody wants. Basically, this is like a super dysfunctional rich family. Like, think like Knives Out or like Murder Vacation. I think that's the way it's called. I think that's what it's called. Just, yeah. Lots of family secrets, lots of undercurrent here. And so she goes, they get snowed in, the game starts, and then people start ending up dead. Great little murder mystery. The storyline was fun. Some really cool things about this book. Of course, there's like the whole, solve the murders and figure out, the big secrets or whatever that you're doing along with the characters in the book. Well, at the beginning of the book, Alexandra Benedict put in the beginning that there's actually like little clues and riddles hidden throughout the book specifically for the reader to find. So it's kind of like a wall break between the book and the reader there with the author. And so I found myself as I was going through the book trying to like solve the little clues that Alexandra Benedict put in the book specifically for the reader. And then at the end, it has like all the answers and stuff. It was just really fun. Now, all that being said, the pace really didn't work that well for me. They're supposed to spend the 12 days of Christmas at Endgame House. By the time we were halfway through the book, we were only on day like 3 or 4, and it was like just dragging on. It was taking forever. And then the last half of the book, the pace was a lot better, but it felt like the author just sort of rushed through it. It's like she knew that she ran out of time or something. So the pace didn't really work for me. But storyline worked. The twists, very good. It was kind of an emotional book. And it was just fun. Like, as a reader, it was fun. I ended up giving this 4 stars. If the pace had been better, 5 stars easily, because the pace really killed it for me. Like, I was really struggling through the first half of this book because it was just dragging on forever. But this was easily 4 stars. The next book I'm going to talk about is Eversion by Alastair Reynolds. Okay. I have to be extremely reserved with my premise of this story, okay? So it's going to sound really short and not very elaborate, which is not me at all. So here we go. In the 1800s, a ship crashes in Norway. In the 1900s, a Zeppelin dives into an ice canyon in Antarctica. Deep into the future, a spaceship explores the moon of a planet we have never visited before. And throughout all of this, there is one person that is present in every storyline, and that is Dr. Silas Code. And when he figures out that he's remembering things and seeing things from a past and a future that could no way be his, he has to figure out what has happened and why it's happening. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Because I can't tell you anymore. I am so terrified that I'm going to give away any piece of the plot of this book because it's so entangled and so intricate. I don't want to give anything away. This book blew me away. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't even really like science fiction that much, as we discussed earlier, because really it's I'm a lazy reader and it's kind of difficult for my brain to wrap around things. Let's just put it at that. I'm kind of dumb, all right? And so science fiction is sometimes like super dense for me, and I honestly just don't feel smart enough to enjoy it. So yeah, science fiction is sometimes a struggle. I loved this, okay? Because everything I thought it wasn't. Every time I was like, I got it, I didn't. Every time I was like, I totally understand. It was so much bigger than I ever could have imagined. Alastair Reynolds is freaking brilliant in this book. He had me on lead the whole way. I could not stop reading this. Like, once I got into it, I was like, I have to know. I have to know. The way that he laid the story out was just wonderful. It was just so much more than anything I could have imagined. I was sobbing by the end of this book. Okay, it's a science fiction book. We didn't come here to cry, but I was. Okay, it was just wonderful. This was chosen for my book club, and I was really nervous because of like the description said 1800s. Not my era at all. I absolutely do not like historical fiction or anything like that. This did have a historical fiction feel at the beginning because, okay, I'm not a linguist or anything, but it was like Old English. Like, I don't dig that, okay? Despite that, I enjoyed this book. The characters, great. There was so much little bits of work put in here that really made it all shine together. Like, I can't recommend it enough. And no, I'm not going to tell you anything else about it because I don't want to give anything away. Like, seriously, I'm afraid I will slip something in there that will just ruin it for you. This was excellent. I gave it 5 stars, which, like, even though I didn't like the Old English at the beginning of the book, I still gave it 5 stars because that is how good it is. Okay? And if you read it and you hate it, I'm totally sorry, but I absolutely love this book. The last book that I read in February was The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. Okay, so when I was making my reading goals for January, I said I wanted to read more Tia Williams, right? And she wrote 7 Days in June, which just has my heart, okay? And so I was like, yeah, I definitely want to check out Tia Williams because I want to know, did she just write 7 Days in June and I loved it? Or do I love Tia Williams? Okay, I love Tia Williams. That's it. That's it. I love her books, okay? She is amazing and also like uber accomplished. Premise. Okay, Jenna Jones is in her 40s and after like some sort of mishap, she finds herself out of a career, which she was like a top editor at a huge fashion magazine, and now she's out of a job. And she ends up taking a blog writing job, very low level, for her arch nemesis, okay? And at a party, Jenna kind of decides, I'm not going to be uptight Jenna anymore. I'm going to cut loose and have a good time. And she ends up meeting this 20-something man and like having a good time. And her two worlds end up bleeding together and she has to decide, I'm going to risk this relationship, ruin my career comeback that she's trying to make in the fashion industry, or is she going to allow herself to let go? From lost to found. We're also dealing with an age gap romance here. It's spicy. Okay, 7 Days in June. There was not a lot of spice in that book. There was a lot of chemistry buildup in 7 Days of June. Like, you could just feel the tension on the page, but it wasn't completely closed door, but it was not a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot in this book, and I was so happy, like, because T. Williams writes such good sexual tension. It's so good, like, and here she acted on it. Like, she gave us full scenes multiple times. It was terrific. Okay, and I had a few friends call me out on this because I read Grown by Tiffany Jackson. I think it was last month or maybe the month before. I can't remember. But we got into a really deep discussion about age gaps and things like that. This is where I stand on age gaps in fiction, okay? In real life, it's too messy. It's too nuanced. You know, let's not talk about real life right now. In fiction, as long as everyone is a legal consenting age and there was no obvious and intentional grooming, that's it, okay? And this is clearly between two consenting adults. The one character is, I think, like 25, and Jenna is in her 40s. So, two very consenting adults, but it illustrates like this love across timelines idea, and this just bad timing. And it just broke my heart. Like, it was just so beautiful the way that she did this. Now that I've said that, I couldn't give it the 5 stars because she messed with me on the ending. I did not like the ending. I'm sure this is completely subjective just to me personally. I didn't really like the ending. So it got 4 stars. 4 very good stars because of the ending. Okay. Yeah, it's official. I like Tia Williams. And the problem is, she doesn't have that many books published. And a lot of people in the review sections have said that some of her earlier books, which would be before this and 7 Days in June, are not her best work. Like, her older work, which would be this book and the other one, are some of her best writing. So, like, I'm really hesitant to read any of her other stuff because people have just said it's okay, and that these, like, as she's progressed in her writing career, her books have gotten better, which makes complete sense. So yeah, I don't know how I will proceed with Tia Williams, but just know that I am happy with what I've read of her. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. I read 3 really great books in February, and I'm like really trying not to jinx myself because I've had a really good start to the year. Like, I haven't read anything bad yet and I don't want to read anything bad. There was this like whole discussion on TikTok a couple of days ago about like how people are too generous with their ratings. About like, you can't be reading all 4 and 5-star books. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And maybe it's just because I know how to pick books for myself. And that might sound braggy. You know, it is braggy. I will brag. I know what books I like, and I know what I'm going to like. It's always when I take risks that I end up reading books I don't like. But I think it's good to take risks. I think it's good to take risks with your reading, especially when you get into reading slumps and stuff. You really have to change it up, and you might find a new author that you really, really love. But I really don't like this conversation of like, you're being too generous. I'll rate the book whatever I want to rate the book. Okay? That's it. I'll rate it however I want to rate it. Reading is subjective. It's all on a scale. We will rate however we feel. Now, that being said, I will only give 1 and 2-star ratings to books that are like fundamental issues. racism, homophobia, cultural appropriation, things like that. Fundamental issues or moral issues. Like, if it's really morally gray, I've talked about this in some of my other videos, I can't get on board with books like that. There has to be something devastatingly wrong with this book for me to give it a 2 or a 1. Like, to the point where I won't even read that author anymore. 3, it's fine. It's not memorable, though. It was a fine book. It's not memorable. 4 and 5, that's where I'm living right now. And I'm happy with where I'm living right now. So yeah, rate them how you want to rate them. It's all subjective anyway. Like, yeah. On the verge of me getting too philosophical here. I'm going to cut it off, okay? Make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know what I'm posting. I post every week. And yeah, I'm really excited about all the upcoming content with the films and stuff that are coming out and the shows and more reading. I'm excited about that. Please go check out my author friend that just published on Kindle Vella. I promise if you like science fiction-y romance, but very steamy, you know, monster porn, this is it, okay? Don't miss out on that, all right? I got the link in the bio. Go click it. Or I got it, whatever, this thing down here, the description box, there it is. Go click it there. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!